on Orange Chamber. Hello, good evening, City of Orange. I'm Adrienne Gladson, a resident of Orange for over 3 decades. I own a home near Grijalva Park. I love the City of Orange and am honored to have been president of the Orange Community Historical Society. I have a small business. I'm a city planner, a graduate of Leadership Orange, and honored to serve you in a volunteer capacity on the Planning Commission and Design Review Committee for over 12 years. This is a transformative year, one in where the City of Orange, as well as the nation, stands at a crossroads. I believe the community is restless for change, and simply we need to reestablish balance and equilibrium and give the people and the property owners of Orange the majority interest in our community. When did and why did residents in the community become an enemy? I'm running for mayor to bring change to City Hall. I can't stand on the sidelines anymore and watch the status quo or special interests ahead of the city I love. Our current leadership is stuck in the past and has personal entanglements that no longer help us. I simply want to make a difference and do what's right. I'm not a career politician. I believe in fairness and doing what's right for our community and our homeowners and our businesses. My vision includes moving our city forward, and I have a high bar of excellence and merit as my measuring stick. Go to gladsonfororange.com to find out more about me and also to learn more about my vision for the City of Orange. Thank you.
Mayor Mark Murphy.
Thank you, Ambassador, for moderating this evening, and my thanks to the Orange Chamber of Commerce as well for providing this forum. My name's Mark Murphy. I was born and raised here in the City of Orange, proud graduate from Orange High School, and I've lived my entire life here. I don't have to tell anybody here that the pandemic, COVID-19, has just really put a stranglehold on everyone and everything in our economy. I mean, last year at this time, if you'd have asked what social distancing was, I'm not sure you would have gotten a real answer. The residents and our businesses have been extremely cooperative, and I want to say thank you for that. And we must continue to work together to reinvigorate our local businesses and our community and reopen that community safely. It's not a short-term issue. It'll be a top priority for this council moving forward and will require innovation amongst other things. I want to increase our joint efforts with our schools as well, because frankly, I think kids have missed out on so much during this pandemic and previously, and they need our help. Public safety is my top responsibility and priority, always has been, always will be, and specific issues and needs change over time, but the goal does not, which is for Orange to be a safe community. I want to continue to address the homelessness issues with housing, services, and enforcement where required, and maintain a fiscal responsibility in terms of operating that vibrant community despite the changes in the economics and without any tax increases or special assessments. That's clearly by fostering an environment that promotes a healthy, productive business quality. These things help contribute to the quality of life and benefits in Orange that we've all come to treasure. And I truly believe that Orange is the best place to live, work, and raise a family. And you have my commitment that I'll do everything possible to continue that heritage and quality of life as Orange's current mayor and as Orange's next mayor. I thank you, and I ask for your support, your continued support. And if you'd like to look for more, look at markamurphy.com. Thank you, Ambassador. Appreciate it.
Both. So first, the first question that I want to pose to you is, and you've addressed it somewhat, but if you could sort of isolate 1, 2, 3, probably no more than 3 because of the 2-minute time limit, but what do you believe to be the top of mind issues facing the City of Orange? And if elected, what would you do to address those issues? Mayor Murphy.
Well, I think first and foremost, it's obviously the pandemic and all of the impacts that go along with that, whether it's the employment issue, whether it's small business, whether it's schools, and all the rest of the things that go along with that. I think past that as well, it continues to be homelessness. and investing in the services required as well as the approaches required to find folks that need help, to find that help and get them on a path back to a productive life. And last but not least, it's economics. Businesses are hurting. People are hurting. People are out of jobs and the rest. We have to figure out ways to be creative in bringing that back together. Obviously, everyone points to the Paseo downtown as an idea that's thinking out of the box, and we're going to have to come up with a lot more of those as we move forward. You know, we've secured CARES Act funding for small businesses, and we'll continue to do so. We've also secured money for meals delivery to homebound seniors and families, and those sorts of things, along with working with that business community, will start to address those issues. Related to homelessness, we've partnered in the SPA, the system planning area, to invest in 2 shelters. They're both open now, both in Buena Park and in Placentia. We also partnered with the county in citing the Be Well OC Center in the western end of town. And that comprehensive approach and those services, along with our HEART team and our Orange Police Department and Orange Fire Departments, are all going to be contributors to this solution as we move more people off the street into residences or interim type facilities so they can get some help. So those are some basic things. I can certainly go further if you'd like, but I think we're getting close on time.
Adrienne Gladson.
Sure. I have 4 areas on top of mind that come to me in terms of our future. Obviously, COVID-19, the virus, addressing that, being factual about the reality of what we're facing as a community. It was very disheartening that much of that became a political issue instead of a scientific issue and based on facts. We need to continue to do that forward. We are the healthcare center. I mean, Orange has a great place of hospitals and medical professionals who are on the front line. I had a friend who had surgery during the beginning of COVID. We have to continue to stay on top of that and be prepared for the cure, be prepared for virus options. That is our first priority. Obviously, after that, we do want to maintain our safety and our feeling of security for everyone in our community, making sure it's a safe place to live, work, and play. But I will also say my third issue is quality of life, protecting our neighborhoods and quality of life. There's clearly a concern about that, and clearly issues up in Sacramento that as mayor I want to take the lead on. Sober living homes, issues with boarding houses down by Chapman University. We know our neighborhoods in the community are asking for us to address that, and I will take that on as mayor. The fourth issue, of course, is these are all really connected, is what's going to happen after the pandemic, what happens after we have potential vacancies. The Chapman report that we heard earlier this year is potentially 30% of our office space may not be needed. So we need to be ready and flexible for those businesses that want to come into Orange, and I want to take a lead on that. I think that strategically we're going to need to bring a panel of folks from our community and plan now for the future on the other side of this crisis.
Thank you for your answers. So the next question is, and we'll start with you, Adrienne Gladson. What can the city council do, and mayor, of course, do about creating greater access to affordable housing in the city? This topic of affordability continues to be one of the top tier concerns of people. Your thoughts on what the council and mayor can do about affordability in the city of Orange?
Well, that's an excellent question, and it's something I've done my entire career as a city planner. One of my responsibilities was to evaluate projects that came into our city, both market rate and affordable. The reality is at the city level, we need to be a partner in that area. The complication with affordable housing is the cost of land, and there's very little land left in Orange. We are practically built out. We have very little raw land, and the land that we do have, mostly on the east side of Orange, is very, very sensitive, And so we have to look at many of the same things that we did in our 2010 general plan update, take stock of our supply, and see where we can look at some opportunities for some partnerships for affordable housing. I'm pleased to also say on the Planning Commission, I approved a number of affordable housing projects. I want to expand that, bring new partners to Orange, open those opportunities for others who want to come here. The reality is Orange County is expensive, and we've all kind of suddenly realized that if we aren't going to have housing, we aren't going to be competitive to bring the best talent to our community. There's a number of things we can do with our housing element update that is due next year within regards to our arena. So I want to be on the front end of that conversation and educate the community. There's a lot of myths connected to affordable housing. We need to break through those, debunk them. There's a lot of fear that's unfair. We have a lot of affordable projects that most people don't know that are doing quite well. So I want to continue with that mission. I'm proud of our prior mayors, Tita Smith particularly, and even Joanne and Carolyn Cavechi on those areas for us to reach forward on.
Mayor Murphy.
Well, yes, thank you. Orange has a proud tradition of leading the way with affordable housing. We've had longstanding partnerships with nonprofits and other agencies to put together those sorts of implementations. And I think the best measure of housing of any type is not how they look the day they open, because everything's bright and shiny then, but the fact that you drive through those neighborhoods 10, 15, 20 years later, and they still look great. And that's, to me, the measure of really quality, affordable units. We've done a number of units for different age groups and such. We've also updated some of our zoning and allowed overlays and conditional use permit type activities in some of the commercial zones. And the best example currently, and the ground just was flattened recently, is the Catella Terrace. These are affordable senior units that are going on an old commercial piece of property on Catella Avenue. And it's another great example of, had we not changed the zoning, you wouldn't be able to incent that type of activity. But we do need to be progressive because, as was mentioned, not a lot of open land, so we have to be much more creative in the reuse of property as we move forward as well.
So one of the questions that we've posed to candidates and is a subject of debate and discussion in a lot of municipalities and counties and whatnot, and that's the issue of defunding the police. So I wanted to ask each of you, and Mayor Murphy, I'll begin with you. Do you support, oppose defunding the police? And as mayor, what would you do to support your view?
Well, I would never, ever be a part of a board or a council that would consider defunding the police. Quality of life begins with feeling safe. And frankly, the city of Orange is very, very fortunate to have not only an outstanding department, but a progressive department that has been on the front line of training, have been on the front line of a number of the things that we unfortunately have seen highlighted in the press recently. And I would encourage anyone that has a question about Orange PD, simply go to their website and take a look at some of the things they're doing. I'm happy to say the City Council and Orange PD incorporated body cams that are going on the officers as we speak. This was done and approved prior to some of the notoriety of earlier this year. And it's something the officers embrace as well as the city will embrace. But it's really towards considering or continuing the move towards total transparency as it comes to the department. So no, I would never defund the police department. They are an incredibly important part of our organization, and they do yeoman's work each and every day.
Adrienne Gladson.
Sure. I don't like the term defund the police. I think it got mischaracterized when it came out. It was just a bad choice of words. I would be in favor of maintaining our police department as mayor. But let me stop for a second and tell you my story, because I have a dad who wore the badge. I have his badge with me. I have a brother who is a police officer who just retired. and I have family that's of color. So this conversation is complicated because we have people in our community that feel unsafe. They're wondering what they're going to have to face if they might travel to Northern California. So this is a really healthy conversation. We want our police department strongly supported. I do. And our police department has done a great deal in that effort. But we have people of color. We have people who are Hispanic and African American and are Asian that are troubled by some of the things that they've seen on television. And we cannot ignore it. We have got to talk about it. As mayor, if I had been mayor when all this stuff happened, I would have talked with our community in those areas. I would have had them help me craft the statement that we released. And I would have asked them to give me action items that we can do to help that part of our community feel connected and feel like they belong. And I think we're in that conversation mode, which is really good for us, and we need to continue going forward. I don't like it being us or them because I support both. I have family, and I have family on both sides, and this is something we've got to tackle. And I know back in the 90s when we dealt with community policing, and Ambassador, you as an officer know, we changed the culture of much of our police department. And as mayor, I want to continue doing that and bring that forward to everyone in Orange. Everyone feels safe.
Thank you for your responses. Adrian Gladson, the next question is for you. We'll start with you, and we're going to come back to this topic, which we sort of skirted around a little bit at the inception or the start of tonight's forum. The statistics suggest that the number of homeless persons continues to build and rise in our communities. What recommendations or actions would you take? And if you could just give us a sampling of the most important ones in your mind due to the time limits, would you take to address the issue of homelessness in our city?
Well, it starts with the recognition that we have homeless people, and we certainly did that in 2018 when we saw them along our riverbed, and trying to see if there's things that we can do to first and foremost prevent homelessness. That's a very complicated issue. I know for me, it starts at education. It starts at jobs and more jobs and well-paying jobs and bringing more jobs to Orange. So that's going to mean we're going to have to do an economic component. We're going to have to do an education component. But I will tell you that one of the things that is on the horizon is that we have already moved forward with a permanent supportive shelter at our police station, and moving forward with actually having a place for homeless individuals to move into. I think that's great. I think we should do more of those. That particular project, I'm disappointed that others didn't get a chance to compete to buy that land from the city, but I would like us to pursue those as well. Homelessness is something we've got to tackle at a regional level. And again, I know I've touched about our housing element that we're going to be doing in 2021. We have to put programs in place to try to take care of our share. And I will come back to this and finish. We have to do our share. So Orange has really done a great job in terms of a number of these things. We have a lot of shelters in town that most people don't know about. But we should take our share. And we also, as mayor, I want to hold our South County people accountable and have them come along and take their share as well, and not just bring them up here. I also want to work with our city of Santa Ana, our neighbor next door, city of Anaheim, on partnerships we can forge together.
Mayor Murphy.
Well, thank you. I touched on this a bit earlier in terms of the plans that are already in place and have been working. And the collaboration with the Sheriff's Department and Orange PD, along with the City of Anaheim PD, effectively dealt with that unfortunate situation at the riverbed. But it also came with the investment in the shelters, the navigation centers, and also the siting of a BWLOC center in the City of Orange as well. It does require a comprehensive approach, and Judge Carter often reminds us when we all go to court to chat with him about the needs for those services, the needs for those facilities. And Orange has done its fair share and will continue to do its fair share related to those entities and those investments, because those homeless shelter investments are 10 and 20 years or longer in commitments. These are not things that we build and then walk away from, but they also provide an opportunity for when our HEART team and officers engage with a homeless person and they want help. This is a way that they can have a roof over their head and start down that path of getting the additional services. One of the things that the pandemic has also created, which is assisting on the homelessness issue, is all the mayors in Orange County get together at least once a week on a phone call and deal with these sorts of issues. So Miguel Polito and Harry and others from the northern side, we do talk on a regular basis and look at ways to share assets, share resources, and move forward. But it is not an easy issue. There's an education component has been mentioned as well, but it's really breaking that cycle and hopefully giving people that want the opportunity the chance to take that next step into being much more productive.
Mayor Murphy, the next question, we'll start with you. So the next mayor will be leading a new council with 6 members. How would you go about creating a collaborative environment while recognizing that each of these council members will be representing a district? It will be a new experience for all involved. But if mayor, how would you help guide that transition and create an atmosphere of collaboration?
Well, it definitely will be a brand new experience and one that we have not seen previously, but I would point to my experience being mayor and leading councils previously. It is a collaborative effort. Oftentimes mayors get too much credit or too much blame for things that happen. But I tell people and remind people it takes 3 votes to do anything except lower the flag or raise the flag in the plaza. And so collaboration is a key. It's something that I've found some modest success in based on my professional experience in its sales capacity, leading sales teams worldwide for Hewlett-Packard. And it's the same thing that I've applied here. And the great thing is our current council couldn't be more collaborative than they are. I mean, we debate things, we have great ideas, and we encourage each other to come up with those ideas for the best to be forward. And that's going to be the start. I mean, the start, once the election's done and the euphoria is over, is to sit down either one-on-one or in small legal groups due to the Brown Act, of course, and not all getting together without it being publicized, but to talk about what the goals are, try and put together that first 90-day plan, but also a reminder that while the districts are important, they are responsible for the resources and the safety of the entire community as well. But I'm optimistic. I mean, the electorate in Orange elects good council people, and I believe everyone will come in and recognize that there's a real opportunity to shine here in a new, very new way. I mean, it's 5 seats that are up right now. Ordinarily, that would have been an entire council. So to me, it's an opportunity for a brand new start, and I look forward to being an active part of it.
Adrienne Gladson.
Thank you again. You know, I beg to differ because I have been at every city council meeting since 2018. I've watched all the council meetings virtually as well. Collaborative leadership is something that you should already be doing, and I'm not seeing it right now. Part of the reason why I'm running is we do have the need for collaborative leadership, and with the council expanding, I am pretty confident that there will be differences of opinion on the council. So the role of the mayor will be to work with everybody, even if they're ideologically different than the mayor. And right now, the ideological base of the council is uniform. So the changes that are coming for our council are realistically going to be different. And so as mayor, my aim is to be collaborative, work together, find common ground, do a strategic plan, sit down in front of the public, let the public see us, Let us talk about those issues and come up with options that benefit all of Orange. And so I intend to bring that to the council as mayor. Those fresh eyes can also take a look at rocks that need to be turned over. And since Measure AA has not come up, I need to tell the mayor here as we talk, we need to talk about that at another forum. We need to take that particular measure and debate it, the two of us. I know we have different positions. And we need to talk about that in terms of how the leadership of our future council will go forward. And I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to talk about that measure as any day, any time with my opponent. So I think this is a critical issue on who people choose for mayor in terms of that need to be collaborative and working together and bridging differences.
And the next question to you, and this is one sort of in that rapid fire category, but what do you like, and this is to Adrian Gladson, what do you like most about the city of Orange?
A number of things, but my favorite spot is the original fountain at the Orange Public Library. And that's over there tucked away in between the History Center. So that's my favorite spot.
Okay.
I like.
But what do you like most about the city? What is it that excites you about the city of Orange?
In terms of, you're correct. I didn't completely get your answer. What I really like about Orange is our community spirit, our willingness to work together, even if there's separate from the city. We don't wait for the city to be the lead. We do it. Everything we've done in our city has been driven by the grassroots community. Yeah.
Thank you. Mayor Murphy?
Similar answer, the sense of community that Orange has. It's proud of its heritage. It's proud of the multi-generational families that continue to live here, raise families here. And it's a hometown. It's a real, has an identification that way rather than simply perhaps a spot that you transfer to when you get a job transfer and then you leave again years later. I won't mention any names of cities that seem more similar to that, but Orange has a sense of community, a hometown, and folks that visit me here uniformly bring that up before the conversation's over.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do now is go to a flash round of questions, which you may have seen on other forums, but I want to just have the public, the viewers, get to know you because we've asked formal questions about policies and so on and so forth. Favorite hobby? Adrian?
Actually, aqua aerobics, but has been deferred with all the COVID. I can't get to the 24-hour fitness. Aqua aerobics.
Mayor?
I like vintage cars and vintage guitars. So a little of both for me.
Least favorite topic or class in high school? Mayor Murphy?
You'll laugh because it's a teacher that you had as well, Gaddy. But I know you liked her a lot, and that's English. But Julia Thielman.
Indeed, indeed.
She was good. She was a great individual, and I learned a lot, but it was tough for me.
Adrian Gladson?
Boy, least favorite topic and subject in high school. Proud Fullerton High School graduate. I guess I'll have to say, the statistics classes that you take after geometry before you take calculus. That was tough stuff.
You said earlier favorite location is the fountain at the city library, right?
Yes.
Your favorite park in the city?
Well, I have so many. I live next to Grijalva Park, so I'll say Grijalva Park.
Mayor Murphy?
My favorite place or my favorite park?
Your favorite park?
My favorite park has to be Hart Park because that's the first park I remember growing up when I was living in West Orange.
And Mayor, the last book you read?
It was a biography about the Wright brothers by an author named McCullough.
Adrian Gladson?
I'm reading a book called Renovating Democracy about how we turn the democracy into the mode of governing with the digital and global economy. Totally what we're doing with COVID. So the change is coming.
Adrian, hero or leader that you most admire?
Well, He just passed away, but I knew about Congressman John Lewis before his passing. But the movie Selma, big deal for me. So John Lewis.
Mayor Murphy.
Ronald Reagan.
Now I'm really going to put you on the spot now, both of you.
We
Mayor, this is going to go to you first. If you couldn't live in Orange, where else would you want to live?
Wow. Close by, it would probably be the city of Tustin, because my dad actually worked for the city of Tustin for almost 40 years, and it has a sense of community as well. If it was anywhere in the world, there were a couple of places in Italy I visited that looked pretty nice as well. Florence on the piazza looked very nice.
Sounds right to me. Adrian Gladson.
I'll have two options too. My mom and stepmom both own property in Fullerton. So if I couldn't live in Orange, I know that there's a place for me back in Fullerton. Internationally, I have a huge affinity for the country of Ireland. So probably somewhere in Ireland would be another international spot. I loved Kerry.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you for your answers on those. Those are the getting to know you kind of questions on a personal basis, and so we thank you for that. Now, each of you have the opportunity for a 1-minute closing statement. So, Mayor Murphy, you're up first on the closing round.
Well, thank you, Ambassador, and thanks again for moderating tonight, as well as the Chamber of Commerce for bringing this forum together. You know, I was born and raised in the city of Orange, as we've said, and it's been my privilege to serve both as a councilman and as your mayor. And together, we've worked really hard to battle the dramatic health and financial effects of COVID-19 while maintaining strong safety services and the rest. I've kept my pledge to fight taxes, including protecting Prop 13. I would encourage a no vote on the split rolls proposition number 15 this time. And I've also worked to secure additional parks and resources, including the remodel of Schaefer Park is just one example. I ask for your support to elect me as your next mayor. We'll fight for a safe, financially secure community, and my years in business give me the experience to lead Orange on a secure path through these challenging economic times. I'm committed that our city can only accommodate responsible growth. We must reduce traffic congestion, continue to address our homelessness issue, preserve the history of our great city, and with your help, we'll continue to be one of the great communities to live, work, and raise a family. My service has earned the endorsements of Senator John Moorlach, council members Mike Alvarez, Kim Nichols, Chip Monaco, former Mayor Tita Smith, and the City of Orange Police Association and the Orange City Firefighters. I look forward to serving as your next mayor. Ask for your vote on November 3rd. And check out the website, if you would, markamurphy.com. God bless Orange and God bless America.
Adrian Gladson.
Thank you. And again, thanks Chamber of Commerce for hosting this today. The question is simple. Orange, do you want a leader with fresh eyes that can bring change to City Hall? Remove the ethical barriers that are stumbling us, or do you want to stay with the status quo? As your mayor, I will invite the community to the table, rely on facts, and deliver proper governance. I will lead Orange to the place where we can thrive. And I know that Orange is a wonderful, charming place, a quaint place. We all love it. But we need to step up and raise the bar and move us towards creativity, innovation, and engagement. We can't go back after this whole crisis. We must move forward. We need to move our city in a positive area. I also ask that you vote for me on November 3rd. You can go to gladsonfororange.com, take a look at that. Also, this is the season to vote. This is the season to make sure everybody gets registered to vote. So I ask you to register friends, family. Do not let them skip this election because it matters.
Thank you very much, Adrian Gladson, Mayor Mark Murphy. We thank you very much for your participation and wish you all the best going forward. I hope that the residents and business leaders in the city of Orange have had an opportunity to hear and learn from you tonight. And this concludes all 5 candidate forums under the 2020 election program sponsored by the Chamber. Thank you to the 14 candidates that participated and have been part of the process to let the voters hear from you directly. And I personally want to say, as I've said to the other candidates, thank you for your willingness to serve in public office. And thank you to the Orange Chamber of Commerce for your leadership in putting these important forums on. A huge thank you goes out to the Southern California Gas Company, our presenting sponsor. And this forum will be available for viewing on the Orange Chamber of Commerce website